Where the old Mark Shale was. It's a comedy club called Helium, and our next guest is performing 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow night.
That's right.
Greg Barrett joins us. Greg, thanks for joining us here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you for having me.
You are an icon.
No, I don't know.
You are an icon to both
right.
Kelly Jackson and myself.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I read cover to cover your book, He's Just Not That Into You.
And I've seen the movie about 1 million times.
Okay. Well, thank you.
It is a brilliant deduction on your part.
Well, yeah, I got to tell you, I was just lucky to, any guy could have thought of it. Any guy. A lot of my friends go, dude, I could have told you that. I said, you should have. You should have wrote it down.
Tell the story.
It was just very simple. I was working in Sex and the City, and we were having a lunch break, and I was having a cookie. I enjoy a treat. And one of the girls came up to me and said, can I ask you a question off the clock? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she said, I've been seeing a guy, and he won't go to sleep with me. Is that bad? And after staring at her for about 15 minutes, I said, yes, that's bad. And she said, well, I asked him to come up last night. And he said he had to work in the morning. I said, I don't care if he had to fly the space shuttle. You come up. And at some point I said, he's just not that into you. I don't remember saying it, but the girl that I wrote the book with does. And then we went back into the writer's room and it ended up in an episode. And then I somehow ended up on Oprah. So, I mean, then all of a sudden,
but on Oprah,
right?
I remember seeing the Oprah.
They would have women give you examples.
It was like they were putting them on. It was like they were putting a golf ball on a tee.
And so
literally, a woman would go, I was left at the altar. Should I get back together with him? Yeah, that is a perfect choice. He seems like a great guy. You lost $15,000 to him. Yeah, that's a great idea.
So they would turn to you and you would say, okay, look, he's just not that into you.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And then she would shout it and hold up the book. It was crazy.
Do you still have scores of women? Do they still come up to you and ask you relationship advice?
Every once in a while. I mean, it's not like it was then. I mean, it was pretty crazy for a while.
Yeah.
They turned the book into a movie.
I would see people see me and go the other way. Like, I would see people recognize me and go the other way. Yeah, because it's so hard, to hold a woman crying in a supermarket. Yes, they did. They made the book into a movie.
They turned the book into a movie, and then, but the book, but that's how white hot the book was.
Yeah, I was
on a date, and I went and bought the book, and she thought I was buying it for her, and I bought it for myself because I wanted to read it. But the book was unbelievable because you had all these scenarios, and at the end of the scenario, you would say, he's just not that into you. Mm-hmm.
The answer is on the cover. Today, it would just be a tweet. It's literally a tweet.
Yes.
Or a bumper, you know what I mean? Like we wanted to put a page in the book that said if you're standing in a bookstore holding the book, put the book down, go home, break up with your boyfriend, and be done with it. the publishers were against that.
It was great.
And since then, you and your wife have written other books.
It's called A Breakup Because It's Broken. It's just an effing date, and currently working on how to keep your marriage from sucking.
Fair.
I love that.
You and your wife are writing that together?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So things are well.
Things are
at
going
home.
okay.
Okay, good.
Things are going okay.
Have you always done stand-up?
Well, like I had 15 years going into Oprah. Like I was on my way. Like I'd had a Comedy Central special. I'd been on Letterman. Like I had a nice career, and then like right after Oprah, and I'm not complaining, I became a globally known relationship guru.
Right.
So it was surprising because it wasn't where I was. It wasn't the plan I had.
Right.
Or the course I was on at all. So it just sort of happened.
Right. And so that sort of derailed your stand-up career for a while?
It didn't derail it. It just changed it.
Right.
It would be all women. Drinking Cosmos and then coming up afterwards getting the book signed and crying. So it was I wouldn't say it was tough, but it was different. It took a while to sort of turn back into a comedy crowd because then I think a lot of people in comedy just thought I left comedy to go have this other career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and you're cancer survivor now.
Yes. Yeah. I was diagnosed last year in Australia. Right around now. It was Easter. I was in Australia and I had stomach aches. And which I would say, I don't want anyone to have cancer. I'm not pro-cancer, but if you're going to get diagnosed, Australia is where you want to hear it because it just sounds a little bit less worse. It's your cancer just goes up at the end. You got cancer, mate. Oh, I got cancer, mate. And it just goes up. You don't feel like it doesn't feel real. Anyway, I had 6 rounds of chemo and I had my checkup the other day, so I'm 6 months clear so far.
Congrats.
Greg Barrett is a comedian, author, and he is behind the worldwide phenomenon, ladies. He's just not that into you. But men friendly, right? You are men friendly at these comedy clubs?
Oh, I don't even talk about. I barely talk about relationships. I
Right.
talk about my daughters. One of them is nice, and I talk about I just talk about my life. You know, I
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
Beautiful.
Like it's always been a variety of things.
Greg Barrett, our guest, comedian, author. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow night.
Yep.
7 and 10, 8 and 10.
8 and 10.
8 and 10 tonight. Helium. It's a great new comedy club. I was there last week. It's a whole lot of fun. Go early, have a couple drinks, eat something, and enjoy the night. Greg, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, you guys. It was great.
You got it.
Thank you.
8:10 here, Big 550, KT.